How are you doing? My name is Olivia and this is my YouTube channel, Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. Today is Friday, January 19th, and I am back with an update. Hope the first few weeks of the brand new year have been a great one for you. So as you could probably tell from the photos that I inserted at the beginning of today's video, we got a little bit of a winter wonderland. We were supposed to get snowfall. It might have dusted a little bit of snow, but then it quickly turned into sleet and freezing rain. Today is actually the first day that there's no snow anywhere. It took many days for us to thaw out once it stopped sleeting and freezing raining on us. We didn't get it as bad as we had it back in 21. I never want to repeat Ice-mageddon ever again, but I was definitely concerned that we could. Now to the north of us, they did get a heck ton of ice. They basically had the same experience that we had back in 21 with downed trees and power outages and just awful. And also to the south of us, Eugene area, and then down south, they also got hit pretty hard with an ice storm. So we kind of sat in this little bit of a bowl where sleet, freezing rain happened. Didn't really attach too much to any of the tree branches, which was good. As soon as it started with the freezing rain, I definitely had some flashbacks to the winter of 21, and I did not want to repeat that. I was ready to pack our bags and move to Florida if it happened. But we got very lucky. We held on to power, which was wonderful. We had heat, which was wonderful. And so definitely very blessed. But it was very beautiful while it lasted. I enjoyed going out even though it was freezing. I enjoyed being out with Freddie and just, the hushness and the calm that created in my world was just really nice. So I'm going to do something a little bit different in today's video. I don't typically share a lot of purchases that I make, and that's just because I don't really do a whole heck ton. Usually my purchasing is very boring. It's linen and threads for a project that I already have or one I want to start. So I don't typically show it, but I did get some Christmas money and I was able to spend some of it. Actually, I spent all of it, and I'm waiting for one of the packages to be delivered. It's in Woodburn, where it's been since Saturday. But I purchased from the Tinsmith's Wife a piece of 40 count vintage buttercream by Lakeside. And finding Lakeside is like finding a jewel in the rough. So I was very happy to get a hold of this. Not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, because originally the project that I had picked it for or thought it might work for, it ended up being, it was a little bit too yellow. So I can't use it for that one. So I'll save it for something else. Then from Hollis Hands Creates, I picked up the Dutch Rose Sampler by Samplers Not Forgotten. So I was watching Emily C. of Eclectic Possessions, and this was one of the charts that she had got for Christmas. Fell madly and passionately in love with it the moment I saw it, and I just had to get it. So I purchased it from Hollis Hands Creates. I also purchased all of the threads. And the only thing I need to figure out is linen, and then I would really like to start this one. It is so absolutely gorgeous. So love that one. It's also a little bit more than, the chart's not cheap, so I definitely want to make sure that I work on this one and finish it. I love it. And then I also got a piece of linen. This is One More Reproduction by Be Stitch Me, and it is a 40 count. So I would like to find something really awesome to stitch on this because it is such a gorgeous piece of linen. And then from Southern Stitchers Needle Workshop, I was able to pick up the 12 Days of Christmas Sewing Roll by Stacy Nash. So I love this one. I was so excited to finally find it. I've been searching for it for a couple of years, and it's kind of one of those things where I forgot about it after a time, and then of course when December rolls around you start seeing it pop up, then you go searching for it again, and I was able to finally get my hands on it. So I'm really excited to work on this one later on this year. And because it could not travel alone, I picked up Sweet Summer Come Again by Blackbird Designs. I love this one. So can't wait to make both of those. My next purchase I got from Jen's Stitching Niche, and this one is Merry Yuletide by Brenda Gervais with a needle and thread. So this is one that I've loved for quite a while. It's also one that I kind of would forget about as the year went on, but Homespun Prims by Lori on Instagram, when she gets all of her Christmas stuff up, this particular one is in the background of some of her pictures, and she has it framed. It's absolutely stunning. I think a friend stitched it for her, if I remember right. But I love it. I definitely want to stitch it and frame it. I think it just looks absolutely beautiful. So I was able to get my hands on this one. I also have started kitting it with some threads that I have here. I don't know when I'll start it, but I definitely would like to try to work on it sometime this year and get it done for Christmas, but we'll see because I have a lot of other stuff that I'm currently working on. And then this was on sale on her Etsy shop, which is why I made the purchase. I have wanted to get this book for a really long time. It's the Ultimate Sampler Motif book by Brenda Keyes. I basically got it because I do a lot of, whenever I stitch a sampler, I do a lot of personalizing, and I think this is going to be a really great resource to have, especially if I need to change out motifs, which I do sometimes do. I was also hoping this would have a treadle sewing machine in it, because on my Sarah Stewart Hardman sampler, I am personalizing it with my great-grandmother's name, and she's the one who I have her treadle sewing machine. So if I can, I would like to try to find a treadle sewing machine motif, because I think it'd be kind of cool to stitch on it since I have her sewing machine. I hope that makes sense. Whenever I think about these videos and thinking about, you know, showing different things and what I'm going to talk about, I always try to think about how I should say it. And when I'm sitting here saying it, the words want to come out, but they don't want to come out correctly. Anyway, it's a great source. There's a lot of wonderful motifs in it. It just doesn't have a treadle sewing machine. So I'll still continue to look, but I think it'd be fun to have it and then stitch it over one and, you know, put it somewhere on Martha Sampler. So over the past 2 weeks, I watched a little bit of Flosstube. Didn't watch as much as I wanted to because I discovered that all episodes of Northern Exposure were streaming on Amazon Prime for Prime members. So I've been binge watching that all this week. But prior to that, I watched Heidi of Stitching Faye. I love Heidi's videos. I watched Nicola Parkman's video. She's doing a new series called Mrs. Parkman's Academy of Needlework, and she released that first episode, and it was very wonderful. I watched Crafty Gaming Jamie, and she does a lot of full coverage pieces, and she's just a lot of fun to watch. I really enjoy her floss tubes. I watched Stitching with Reese. So she's been gone for a little while, and she uploaded a video and shared some of the projects that she's been working on, and it was really nice to catch up with her. Then I watched Michelle Cozy Egg, and Michelle's one of the ones that I Zoom with on Friday nights, and she, partway through her video, there was something that hit the side of her house, and she had mentioned it in the Zoom, and so I watched her video, and it made me jump when it hit the side of the house, but the look on her face was just hilarious. I always love Michelle's videos, so definitely go check out Cozy Egg. And then I watched Alana of Mrs. Smith Stitches. I hope I said your name right. I meant to Google it to make sure I was pronouncing it, but it's Mrs. Smith Stitches, and I really enjoyed her video as well. Over the past 2 weeks, I basically only worked on assignment stitching, and I know I talked about it in my last video and kind of a little bit in the late fall of last year, but there is a group of projects that I'm working on with a group of friends. All of the projects have been broken up into assignments. Basically, we just need to complete the assignment by the end of the month. I mean, it's not like you're going to get in trouble if you don't, but it's just, you know, basically getting progress on a bunch of awesome projects. So the one that I'm currently working on is Live on Little by Plum Street Samplers. This one I would like to get done by summer. It is a focus piece, so I'm not technically sticking to any assignments. I'm kind of going my own way on this, but I'm still working on this with a group of friends. And here is my progress. So I was able to begin working on the church and the landscape below it. I did make one tiny counting error, and I blame it on Fargo. So my husband and I, we've been watching Fargo on FX. It was the final episode, and when I started working on this, I was watching that final episode, not really paying attention, and the trees, 2 of the trees are in the correct place, but when I went to go stitch the land beneath it, it's 2 stitches too low. So my church is sitting 2 stitches too low, and there was no way I was going to unpick the entire church because I didn't discover it until last night. So I just decided to roll with it, and mine will just be 2 stitches bigger than everybody else's. And I really honestly don't think it really is going to make a big difference. I don't think it's going to make a big difference. I might have to fudge a few things, but I'm okay with that. So I am stitching Live on Little on a piece of, let's see if my memory is good, 36 count American Chestnut by R&R, and I'm stitching it with all of the called for threads. I'm stitching it 1/2. And I did not bring my notes out here that have the, you know, which linen I'm stitching what on. So all of the information on everything that I showed today will be listed down in the description box down below. So hopefully, I'm pretty positive, 36 count American Chestnut. I love it. So I will continue working on this one for a couple more days. I'd like to fill in the grass, or if not, maybe, you know, drop down and start outlining this area here. So we'll see, but I enjoy working on that a lot, and hopefully I can get it done this summer. The next project I worked on was the Houses of Hawk Run Hollow by Carriage House Samplings. So I am stitching this also with a group of friends. It's been so much fun. So many of you guys have decided to work on it too, and I love seeing all of your progress, and I love that you're tagging me in the photo. Just, that's so cool. So I'm glad that so many of us are working on it together. Our assignment for January is to work on this block. So it's been broken up into 4 sections, and the January's assignment was to do this bottom here, come up, and then do everything above the house. Now on this particular project, I did have to do some color changes. I want my house to look like the one that's charted. When I went to go pull the DMC colors, the house, instead of it being a very dark brick, was actually more of a cinnamon color. So I definitely did not want that, because one of the things that really attracted me to this piece was that dark house sitting up in the corner. So here is the progress that I made. Again, we have been working on this block here, and that was the assignment for January. So I'm hoping that when I start working on the house, all of the colors will work really well together. I went based on what the color of the house is on the chart. So hopefully it works out. Kind of reminds me a little bit of like dark academia, and I love that look. So I'm hoping it's all gonna work out. I think that the apples on the tree is the same color as the house, I think. So I finished. So happy that this one is now being worked on. This is, so this will be the first row of houses of Hawker and Hollow, so I can't wait to get this one done in 3 more months. But it's so fun to work on. So I'm stitching this on a piece of 40 count Heritage by Picture This Plus, and I am using DMC threads, and I'm stitching at 1/2. I love it. And then also with a group of friends, I am working on The Shores of Hawker and Hollow by Carriage House Samplings. So we have been working on this first block here, and I think there's been 3 assignments so far. So February will be the final assignment on this one, and then it will be complete. So I can't wait until it gets to that part. Here is a little bit better close-up. I love it. And here is my progress. So I'm stitching it on a piece of 40 count Ale by Picture This Plus. I am using DMC threads. I'm using all of the called for DMC threads. I'm stitching at 1/2. And I think it was I can't remember if it was this last Friday or the Friday before. Maybe it was the Friday before. I was on Friday nights we do a Zoom together, and I was able to fill in just about all of the water during that Zoom meeting, so that was a lot of fun. So can't wait to get this block completed and see it, and I just love it. I love it with all of the colors against the linen. It's just so beautiful. So looking forward to having my first block finish on that in February. The next project I'm working on comes out of the Teresa Kogut book, Hello Autumn, and it is Folksy Thomas. So this is one that is a focus piece as well as an assignment, and I would really like to get this one done by November of this year. And this is the progress that I made. So I decided to continue along the bottom. I basically did the bottom corner and worked my way over to the, I think it's like a pedestal that the pumpkin's on. So I worked my way over that way. And I love working on this piece. It is so much fun. I love the colors, and it just stitches up so easy. I just love it. So I'm stitching Folksy Thomas on a piece of 36 count Parchment by Weeks Dye Works. And I'm using all the called for threads, stitching at 1/2. I love it. So I think I might just continue going along the bottom there, and I'm basically trying to work my way around the big turkey that's in the middle, because I'm thinking I'm gonna save him for last. So maybe when I pick this up again, I might continue this way. And I might do the pumpkin. There's like so here's the pedestal, the vase, the pumpkin. So I don't know, maybe I'll just do all of this. I haven't decided yet. But a lot of fun working on that one. It goes so quickly too. A lot of times when you're working on a project, when you're, working in one little area, sometimes it can take a little while, but I feel like that one, it just flies, and I really, really love working on it. So I can't wait to get back to Folksy Thomas next month and continue on with him. My next project was a new start, and that is And Heaven and Nature Sing by Barrick. This one was also my problem child for the month so far. So this is a project I'm working on with a group of friends, and so it also has been broken up into assignments, and our January assignment was to stitch the outline of the deer, and my deer is a couple of stitches missing or too many. I think it might be, I don't know. I made a couple of different counting errors, and I decided that it was not worth going in and trying to fix it. I think I might have found one But there was no way I was going to go and rip out the whole deer in order to figure out where I had made the mistake. So my deer is going to look a little bit different. I don't think it's going to matter. I also did not complete the outline of the deer. I was supposed to stitch the other two legs. And by the time I, got to the area where I discovered my mistake, I was done with it. It was either fudge it and carry on or throw the project in the trash bin. That's kind of the frustration I was at. So I think it's gonna be okay. I really don't think it's gonna matter too much. I basically made sure on the back, so on the deer's back between the antlers and the back, I made sure there was enough room for the two little birds that are supposed to be on his back. So hopefully once I get the deer completely filled in and get everything else around it, I won't even notice that I made a mistake, but I think it'll be okay, because if you look at a lot of Prim stuff, all of the, the motifs and the animals and even like on a Stacy Nash sampler, there's that one spring at Hollyberry Farm or stables at Hollyberry Farm. It's got that giant cat on it. So I think it's going to be okay. I don't really think, I think once I get it filled in, everything else around it, I'm not even going to notice that the deer has a little bit of a badonkadonk. So I think it's going to be okay. So I'm stitching And Heaven and Nature Sing on a piece of 40 count Biscotti by Tropical Stitches. And I am using Vicky Clayton silks, and I'm stitching at 1/2. So next month, I will get back to working on that. I think Yvette is the one that is assigning out all of the assignments, and she's just doing it verbally. So I'll be very curious to see what our next assignment will be. And on the 13th of January, I was able to work on Jack's Bash by Plum Street Samplers. So I am working on this with Katie of So Tattered, and so many of you guys have joined in, and it's been so much fun seeing everybody's progress. And this is how far I got. So I made it all the way to the bottom and was able to get that big area of grass outlined. I also worked a little bit on the over one verse, and I filled in the gentleman holding the raven in a cage. So I kind of moved around a little bit on this one. I originally was gonna go and finish the vase on the one side and kind of fill in that area, but I just decided to work on the verse and just kind of go back and forth between the verse and a motif. So I had a lot of fun working on this. It's so close to a finish. There is a big part of me that wants to pick it up and complete it. So I have to restrain myself. So next I pick this up, I'll work on it on the last day of the month, and I can't wait. So I'm stitching Jack's Bash on a piece of 36 count Grandma Slip by XJUDesigns, and I'm stitching it with the called for threads 1/2. I love it. Love it, love it. I cannot wait to get this one done and hanging on my wall. So fun, but so hard to put it down when it gets that close. And my last project is Elizabeth Furniss by Hands Across the Sea Samplers. I'm stitching this with Yvette and Christy Crosshatch Quilts, Becky Socks for Mom. And it's been so much fun to work on. So when my last video, I had started back working on it, and I was down here on the first floor of the big house. Our assignment had been to complete the lawn that was in this corner, and then we were only supposed to do the outline of the windows. But I really, really, really wanted to see what that red color was gonna look like of the house. So I kept going. And apparently I have also done February's assignment, because February's assignment was to fill in the first floor. So I definitely spent some extra time with Elizabeth this month, but it was so worth it, because seeing that beautiful red color of the house against the bee's knees linen, it was worth every single extra day I spent on her. So super happy that I was able to get all of the lawn done. That definitely is a beast unto itself. But having the lawn complete, the border complete, and then seeing that first floor of the house, I'm just so excited to get this one done. So another reason why I bought Brenda Key's Ultimate Sampler Motif book was to help with personalizing this one with my great-grandparents' names and then their date of marriage. So I think next month I'm going to go ahead, chart it out, and begin working on the personalization. I was originally going to save it for the end, but I'm going to go ahead and do it next month. I'm stitching Elizabeth Furniss on a piece of 40 count Bee's Knees by Seraphim Fabrics, and I am using DMC Threads, and I'm stitching it 1/2. And she's so pretty. Oh, I can't wait to get her done. I'm so excited. So in my last video, I did do a giveaway, and today's video will not have a giveaway. I do apologize for that, but I've had a little difficulty in getting the past 2 giveaways to the post office. The first giveaway winner, the box was burned. The quilt is fine, totally fine, but the box it was supposed to go in accidentally got burned, so I had to wait for a new box. The new box came, and then we had a nice storm. So basically, I still have those 2 to get out. I do apologize for the delay. They were supposed to both go out, but we've had no postal service whatsoever since last Friday. But I will get your prizes both out in the mail to you. And so because of that, I'm not going to do a giveaway in this video. So I do apologize for that. So in my last video, I did have a giveaway, and the giveaway question that I had asked was, if you could live in any TV show or movie, what would it be and why? I had said Northern Exposure, and then Pride and Prejudice. And a lot of you guys also said Northern Exposure or Jane Austen. And it's always so fun to read through your guys' comments and just how similar we all are and where we would live. And then there were some that they said the name, and I realized I hadn't seen that show in a long time, so I jotted it down so I could go watch it again. But I really enjoyed reading through all of your guys' responses, and thank you so very much for playing along. The winner of the Wintertime Cross Stitch Kit, which this was part of the Stitch Quarterly Cross Stitch Subscription Club, so it was for the chart and the kit. The winner is Debbie Duncan 6082. So that is your YouTube handle. So congratulations. If you can get a hold of me via email, send me your address. I promise to get it out in the mail to you as soon as I can. And thank you so very much for playing. I will try to have a giveaway in my next video. I do apologize again for the delay. However, I still hope you will consider leaving a comment down in the comment section. I do love reading through all of them. Maybe you could let me know what you're working on. I would love to know what projects are keeping you company today. So, let me know down below. Over these past 2 weeks, quilting wise, I feel like I did pretty good. I got 2 quilt tops completely done. I started a new quilt, and I got a little bit of Quilty Happy Mail. At Christmas time, I got a gift certificate to the Fat Quarter Shop, and I spent it like it was on fire. I picked up a quilt pattern by Laundry Basket Quilts called Trip Around the World. And the nice thing about this is you can make it using a layer cake and 4 fat quarters. So I just picked up a layer cake. It's got a very similar color palette to the quilt that Trip Around the World was made from. This layer cake is called Elliot by Julie Hendrickson, and it is by Wyndham Fabrics. And if I think about it, I will insert a picture of what the fabric line looks like, but it's very beautiful. I was going to take it out of the cellophane, and I thought I better just leave it wrapped up until I get ready to start working on it. And then because I could no longer resist, and I absolutely love Judy Rothermel, I got the Fat Quarter bundle of Indigo and Cheddar, which is absolutely scrumptious. And I cannot wait to make a quilt with this. When I first saw it come out, for some reason, I could picture it as basket blocks. So we'll see if I can find just the right pattern. I might do that. But I love this fabric line. I love Judy Rothermel. So I was so happy that I had that gift certificate so that I could pick it up. Because otherwise I don't think I would be able to. last video, I shared a quilt top that I had just started working on, and it is a quilt designed by Jean Ann Wright, and the fabric line is by Judy Rothermel, and the quilt's name is Cocheco Mills. It's the Cocheco Mills collection. And after my last video, I tried to find this pattern. I believe it was a free one that you could get off the Marcus Brothers website at one time. I was unable to find it. So I'm not sure that this quilt pattern is available anymore. But I finished the quilt, and I will insert a picture of it. It's not a great picture because when we went outside to take a picture of it, the wind kicked up and we could not get a good picture of it. I did post it on Instagram and Facebook, and I will post the same picture at the end of today's video. But here it is. I think. Here it is. So it definitely turned out way bigger than I thought it was going to. I thought it would be more of a lap size. This is definitely more twin, but it is absolutely gorgeous. I love all of the colors, everything about it. It's just so awesome. So I'm super happy to have this done. And I love it. So eventually I would like to get that quilted. And right now it's just gonna go on my stack of unfinished quilt tops. My best friend Retha and I, Retha is an amazing quilter, amazing quilter, but her and I have this tradition that whenever there's any sort of winter snow event, we'll work on a quilt together across the miles. And it was a tradition that was started back when our kids were in school. Her youngest and my oldest are the same age. So whenever there was no school, we would work on a quilt together. It kind of started because we were supposed to get together and sew, and then we had snowfall, which closed school and you know, made traveling impossible for our area. And we were supposed to work on this project together, and so we decided to do it. And we had so much fun doing it that we just kept going. Whenever there was any sort of winter event where at closed school, we would work on a project together. So even though her youngest and my oldest are graduated, we still decided to keep the tradition alive. And we haven't been able to do too many quilts in the last, 5 years, but we've done 2, I think. But we're still gonna try to keep that tradition alive. So it was my turn to pick, and I chose Friday Harbor by My Red Door Designs. And this was a PDF pattern that you could purchase from their Etsy shop, and I'll put a link to their Etsy shop down below. Very easy, very beginner friendly. If you're, at all interested in quilting and thinking you might wanna make this one for yourself, it's very beginner friendly. And we had a blast making it. I did mine out of red and pink Civil War reproduction, and she did hers out of Kim Deal fabrics, and hers looks amazing. So here is mine. So again, I used all Civil War reproduction, and I did it in reds and pinks, which is perfect for Valentine's Day or really any time, because this is definitely one that I will leave up year round, and I love it. Love it, love it. So much fun to work on, and again, very beginner friendly if you're at all curious, but it cut out really quickly and it pieced really quickly. We worked on it, I think we started on Friday, and I had it finished, I think I had it finished Saturday night, or very close to finish on Saturday night, and I was able to finish it on Sunday. I think we either started it, maybe we started it on Saturday. We started cutting it out on Saturday. I had it almost all the way done Sunday night, and then Monday I was able to put the checkerboard border all the way around. So it went together really quick, and it was a lot of fun, and I was so glad that I was able to work on it and that we had power and heat. I did have a new quilt start, and I resisted for as long as I could, and then I finally decided I was going to do it. And that is the Tiny 9-Patch Challenge by Repro Quilt Lover. And you can follow her on Instagram, and I believe she has a website, so I'll put a link to both her Instagram and her website down below. But she decided to do this tiny 9-block challenge. There's 3 different sizes. So technically I haven't started this, but I decided to take some of my leftover 2-inch squares and make some 9-patch blocks. And I'm trying to decide if I want to keep going all the way through the year making the same, because mine are going to finish way bigger than the challenge. And I'm trying to figure out if I want to go ahead and challenge myself to those tinier 9 patches, or if I want to keep going with this size. Because I really love 9 patches. And I love the fact that they, you know, the squares are 2 inches. I think the 3 sizes, the bigger of the 3 sizes, you cut your squares 1.5. So I definitely, I need to decide if I really, if I want to do that, or if I want to keep going and just, you know, have a little bit bigger blocks. I don't know. So technically I haven't started the challenge, but I've sort of done my own. And I had fun doing this because I had a bunch of leftover 2-inch squares from a variety of projects. This is from Cocheco or Cocheco Mills. So I know I'm saying that wrong. And this is leftover 2-inch squares from Friday Harbor. So I need to decide what I want to do, because I do like the idea of those smaller 9 patches, but I also like the idea of these larger ones, being able to see a little bit more of the fabric. So I'll need to decide that. So I think every week you're supposed to make 10, or the challenge is to try to make 10. So I have the first 10 done, so we'll see. I just need to decide before I sit down and work on it again what I want to do. Well, friends, that brings me to the end of today's video. If you've stuck around for this length of time, thank you so very much. I do so very greatly appreciate it. The plan for me will be to be back in 2 weeks, so that brings us to the beginning of February. So I hope the end of January is a good one. If you would like to see what I'm up to in between my videos, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm Pumpkin Hollow Quilts, or I do have a Facebook page called Pumpkin Hollow Quilting. Everything that I have shared and shown in today's video, I will have listed down in the description box if you're at all curious. Hope you have a great 2 weeks, and I will see you all again later. Bye-bye.